So Tesla's giving me that Bollinger Band reversal setup here. We're in that entry zone already, right? So I'm risking about $1.16 for $6. See how this thing reacts to around that 235 area here. All right, guys, I'm looking for an entry here. All right, and I'm in. Average price 235.15. 235.15. So far, so good here, right? So far, so good. Let's go, everybody. Okay, so we can get a little bit further follow through here. Try to take some off around 236 if I can. About 40 cents away here so far, but so far so good, right? Nice, John. What's your setup on Meta? Going upside, downside? What are you doing? Okay, 30 cents away here, 20 cents away, 10 cents away. Come on, Meta, or sorry, Tesla. There we go, guys. All right, so took a little bit off there at that 236. About a quarter of my position. All right, now let's see how much further follow through this thing has. But great first trade to the week here, guys, right? Great first trade. Next target here, right? Going to be about 237. We'll call it high a day. Right? So next target here, high a day. Jason, man, what's with the hesitation? You got to trust your thesis, right? Already in your entry zone. Right, you're getting the ideal risk reward. So when it's A plus, right? When it's perfect, can't talk yourself out of it, right? That's clear as day. Reversal volume, biggest volume we've seen in a month. Okay, next target here is going to be high a day, right? About 237. So honestly, awesome Tesla trade here. Right away, green almost instantly. Didn't spend any time in the red. Had just a little bit more than $1 per share risk here, so was able to get pretty aggressive position sizing and got almost immediate follow through here right away. So incredible thesis, great follow through. That confirmation candle, second most bullish on biggest volume in like a month. Gave me good conviction I was going to get follow through to the upside. All right, come on, give me another few cents here, Tesla. Man, don't you guys love it when a plan comes together? Aimnesh. There we go, guys. We're going to hit 237 there in a sec. Try to take some off here. Come on, come on, come on. There we go, guys. Took a little bit off there at 237. Stop loss is now at my entry price. Call it 235.20. Well, let's go, everybody. Let's go. And I'm managing that trade pretty much the same way every single time. So once I'm up 1R, I'm closing a quarter to 1/5 of my position. Once I'm up 2R, I'm closing another quarter or 1/5 and then pushing my stop loss to my entry price. So now that I'm up 2R, I should be risk-free, and I have a lottery ticket to try to run this up towards that 241, 240 area. Woo! It's a great way to start a week, guys. That's a great way to start a week. Up $2 a share. Let's go. I'm sorry to hear that, D-Wayne. Yeah, this was our strongest look here pre-market, right? And it behaved exactly how we anticipated. We got exactly the A+ look we were looking for. BB reversal thesis, right? So we got a really high volume breakout candle or reversal candle. Biggest volume we've seen in a month. And then we got a low vol pullback here. Highlights then that, DTR indicator highlights that weak first pullback after a BB reversal. And then we're targeting midline here, right? Which is like sort of that 241 zone. And then once we're already inside, right, you can map out that risk reward entry, right? Or you map out your fib zones, right? To identify sort of your profit target and your stop loss, right? Or to identify sort of work backwards toward your entry zone. Apologies. Trying to do too many things at once. So then, okay, we know we're targeting 241, give or take. So anything under that green line here, right? You're getting a perfect risk reward entry, right? Where you're risking, okay, $2, right? To make $6, you're getting 3-to-1 risk reward. But if you're buying in at 235.15, so where we opened up at, you can go 2/3 position sizing here and get like 7-to-1, 8-to-1 risk reward. So right at this open, right at this candle close, I'm basically just watching this reaction at 235, make sure it doesn't flush through that. And then that becomes my buy. And I don't have to be too specific here, because as long as I'm buying underneath or inside this entry, I'm getting like 6-to-1, right? So it's all about, okay, I have enough margin for error here. So just make sure that I'm getting a good enough price. And then let's just try to get anything less than 235.50. So I had my pending order set at 235.50, right? And basically just fire it away, take any price underneath that. And that's how you get executed, right? So make sure you get a fill, make sure you can take advantage of this, right? Make sure you can scale this thing out on the way up. Now I got half my position left, stop loss, my entry price, and I can live a really happy life here all of a sudden, a stress-free trading life. Because I did everything right. Entry was good, timing was good, right? Execution was correct, thesis was correct. So it's just about now, okay, how much more of this lottery ticket can I take advantage of? And boom, right? Well, not weeks, but Monday's done before 10 a.m. Let's go, everybody, right? A 2R win before 10 a.m. Let's go. All right, so we got this lottery ticket, right? Let's see how much the IRS wants to take from us today, right? So we can get nice and sustained breakout here through high a day. That's going to be ultimately our next sign of kind of that bullish continuation. I don't necessarily like how I've seen a little bit of that sort of higher high happen on a consistently decreasing volume profile. Maybe not as much enthusiasm as I thought I saw from that opening candle. But because my entry is still basically being protected by like $1.50 worth of price action, got so much buffer here, right? Where I don't need to be too aggressive. Which candle, Amnesh? Was a doji. This one? Ended up just being the 10-min setup, right? So once this ended up being a little bit wicky, like a weak bullish or weak bearish candle, right? All I'm trying to find is a indication of weak bears after strong bulls, right? So wick heavy candle, decreasing target, decreasing volume, right? And then good enough. So above 237, Brian, I would say, we've already scaled some out there, right? So my next target here is going to be like 238, 239-ish. And then hopefully up towards sort of that 240, 241 shelf. So really it's just going to depend on what this next pop looks like here above high a day. If I can get that next breakout here to sustain and give me a bit of follow through above 238, I'd see maybe splitting that difference, cutting the middle between here and say 240 would probably be realistically the next target. Maybe like 238.50, something along those lines. So you got about $1 a buffer here, right? So let's see if that's enough. If not, right, I've already closed half of my position. Up $2 a share, right? Yeah, I got half my position left. Yeah, Terry. I close a quarter of my original position once I'm up 1R. A second quarter of my original position to go up to half left once I'm up 2R. And then stop loss at entry price once I'm up 2R. And I try to do the same thing every single time. Yeah, I get that. If this was like this is because there's no confirmation here, right? That opening 5-min candle is not great, so I don't have the same setup. Whereas here, right, that opening 10-min candle, much stronger. So I'm looking at this on the 10-min the whole way. And then I could look at the 5-min just to see if I can get like the entry timing a little bit better, right? See if I want to be cute, whatever. But there was nothing here in the 5-min that told me that it was like invalidating what I'm seeing on the 10. So apologies if I didn't explain that well enough in the moment. But this was, yeah, 10-min setup, right? 10-min reversal. Low vol 10-min pullback. And then your stop loss was still the same. Targets were still the same, but your setup trigger here, confirmation trigger, was the 10-min. Very nice, Jared. Very nice. John, you took Meta. Are you still in that trade? And I can't remember. I can't remember if you said you went to the upside or downside. So next target here, right? Like I said, give or take 238.50 if I can get it. What was your entry price, John? Don't mind me asking. Apologies for not being able to talk you through it in the moment. All right, so let's see if we can keep getting that next leg higher here. Again, not as enthused by the volume, but we keep making higher highs, right? So I don't really, I can't be too fussed, right? So let's see how much further continuation we can get here. But guys, I mean, this is a great trade, right? So I got half my position here, up $2 a share, right? So let's go, right? See how much further follow through this thing can get. If we can hit towards that sort of like 240 area, ooh, baby, that would be fun. But I'm basically holding on to a winner here, right? I got nothing else to do besides manage this position and seeing how much further follow through I can get. But I'm not going to be placing any further trades here today, right? This is a nice, great way to start the week. So I'm just unwilling to give that up, right? Or kind of now turn a really nice green day into a red day. So awesome trade. Hopefully if you guys are still in this here with me. And let's keep watching and keep trying to focus on how much we can kind of manage this and scale out. Jason, so look, it feels like that's a little bit of a pattern that happens to yourself a little bit too much, right? Where you find ways to talk yourself out of your trade. So you got to simplify your execution platform, right? You got to simplify your execution process so that it's a more binary, because you kind of you have a little bit of a habit where you talk yourself out of your wins and you talk yourself out of your winners, right? And so the only way for you to get over that is to make that process more binary and then reinforce that binary process with some positive outcomes, right? So maybe this week, right, that's got to be what the obsession becomes, right? Or what you're really focusing on here today. Because I think that's ultimately going to make you more successful as a trader and help you get rid of some of that FOMO and some of those like emotions of missing plays by just protecting yourself from basically making decisions that kind of shoot yourself in the foot. Gotta say, guys, one thing, I did a little bit of reflection this weekend. Positive, very positive. Look, P&L is not as much as it was this year as it was when I was in the peak of the COVID pandemic, right? So obviously, it's much easier to get bigger follow through those days. Right, you can get bigger percentage wins. Everything you'd buy would go up, right? So it's much easier to make huge money in that sort of period. But I was looking at my average trade back then, even like from call it 18 months ago. And the trader who I am now versus the trader I was back then, man, I'm way better. I'm way better now. Like I'm getting way more follow through on my plays. I'm consistently holding like a bigger chunk of my position for longer. I'm seeing the market a lot smoother. So it makes me really positive, right? That the next time we kind of get that sort of sustained level of price action, it's going to be the time to make fuck you money. So pushing 238, right? Next target, 238.50. Come on, baby. I'm going to close another quarter of my original position at that area. And then I'm going to try to hold for as high as I possibly can. Honestly, Jared, I gotta say this. I'm so impressed with the little sabbatical you took and the mindset shift that you went through. You gotta say, man, I'm so impressed. You put in the hard work, honestly. I can see it instantly. I can tell right away. So very impressed, man. Good. Glad it helps, man. I'm glad. Honestly, me being able to talk stream of consciousness in the stream, it helps me just as much as it hopefully helps you guys. So it's a good situation for us all. I thought I had that 238.50 unlocked there, though. I thought that was coming right away. Absolutely spot on, Aimnesh. Yeah. So we're looking for the first weak pullback after a BB reversal trigger, right? And we want that to happen within the first 3 candles of the day. So really strong breakout reversal, right? Kind of confirmation of that reversal. Then weak pullback within the first 3. Get that green line, right? We sandy check, okay, fat bands on the Bollinger. Gap down more than 1%. Weaker pullback than what we saw yesterday at open, right? Weaker pullback than the previous second candle. So we had a lot of kind of conviction that we had pretty weak bears in that context. So weak bears plus reversal candle gives us an opportunity to run this thing higher. So spot on, exactly what you're saying. Yeah, Michael, we try to use positive peer pressure to empower us to all be better, right? There's no point negativity, right? Doesn't help anyone, doesn't solve any problems. And yeah, I'm a big believer, right? Positive mindset leads to a positive outcome. So one thing we can absolutely control at all times, so we may as well bring our very best attitude at all times. Aim, I don't know if you're still in here, but I mean, it's a good reminder, right? Why news is important, right? It gives us a good setup trigger, but volume is the fuel, right? So, you know, people love to buy discounts on these blue chip companies. So many times, right? Negative news actually ends up being a buying opportunity versus a selling opportunity. So that's probably why I try not to focus too aggressively actually on news specifically, because I feel like it just creates biases when I should let the candles and volume basically create that bias for me. So if I ever like, I don't know, discount a story or something along those lines, please don't take it personally. It's just philosophically, I care about volume and price. That's all I give a shit about. Everything else is just noise. And it's reasons like today, right? It gives me the confirmation bias to be that continuously stubborn, to just really only care about those kind of variables. So again, right, 40 cents away from that profit target. Ooh, I want it so bad. I feel like it's coming, honestly. I do feel like it's coming. Yup. The game's good, but Tesla's volume at open was just so much more impressive. Right? So Tesla at the open was just so much, like, just the biggest volume standard in a month. So that was the filter. Nah, pretty much just volume and price, Greg. I mean, I will use Bollinger Bands. Right? Like, I love Bollinger Bands, and I'll use MA crosses sometimes, but man, price and volume plus BBs, that's like my bread and butter right there. All right, there we go, guys. Took a little bit off at that 238.50. Closed more off. Let's go. What a trade. So 240 plus, right? Now gonna be the next target. Oh, fucking hell. Let's go, guys. Woo! All right, stop loss still at my entry price. So far away that adjusting the stop loss is a pain in the ass. All right. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, Brad. We only introduced it maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. But same thing. I've just found that it's made my entry logic to be so much more binary. And so that makes it easier for me to at least notice what I need to do right or wrong, or to kind of like filter out where I need to put my analysis to be more detailed. But I think it makes a huge time. Yeah, I mean, look, it's so hard. It's so hard for me to get follow through on those big gap downs. They tend to get stuck. So yeah, if we can get that big volume on that reversal, I'll take that all day long. Man, guys, what a great way to start the week. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Nice work. Yeah, next target here, give or take 240-ish, right? Another $1.50 away, and I'll probably close off the remainder of my position at that area. Yeah, guys, I'm just chilling here now, right? This is a sick day. No, not at all, right? And so, I mean, look, if you traded the last three of the four trades we've taken, right? You would have passed your evaluation just with those 4 trades. So it's literally all just about consistent process. Think about your risk management, manage your position the right way, have a plan on how you're going to scale out, and then getting this follow through just happens because you know what you're looking for and you know what you're trying to do. And you're being deliberate and you're just being specific. But yeah, this trade, you know, in theory, probably could get you a quarter of the way there, right? With just one of these. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. All right, so now pushing 239. Dude, I love this chop, guys. The reason I'm laughing is yesterday. Nah, just let it ride, Brad. Let your lottery ticket ride, right? Let your lottery ticket ride. That's so funny. The last night, right? I was kind of playing around a little bit. Oh, no, it's just my plan, right? So my plan on this trade is to ride it from bottom Bollinger Band to top band, right? So then I try to basically split this down into four moves, right? If I'm splitting my position into the fours. So approximately gives me about, we'll call it $7 to break down. So I did about every dollar for half, and then now I'm doing it about every $1.50, $2, right? For that next half. So I'm really just trying to follow my plan to scale out by the time I hit that midline. So Bollinger Bands, right? Tell me what my plan should be. And then once I'm in a position, it's the same process every single time. So once I'm up 1R, right? So in this case, I was risking about $1. So once I was up $1, okay, close quarter of my position. Once I'm up $2 a share, close half of my position, push my stop loss to entry price, right? So $2 equals 2R in that context because my stop loss was $1. So 2 times 1, right, is 2. It sounds ridiculous, but that is. And then after that, right, once I have that lottery ticket, I'm much more willing to be aggressive and kind of greedy. But that first point, or that first kind of system or structure to get towards that 2R or to get to that risk-free lottery ticket, it's the same process every single time. I adjust volume. So I'm trying to close a specific amount of contracts or amount of lots versus a specific I'm not sure how you would do it with points. Like, I guess if you close out like a certain P&L number, but I'm kind of doing that. I'd rather just scale up my plan just on a position size versus a number based or P&L based. I feel like that's a little bit chasey. So that's the point of trying to systemize it as much as possible, Greg. So when I get confirmation on the 10, like this is my confirmation candle, I'm trying to trade this on the 10-min time frame. I'm trying to not look at really too many others. Maybe I'll go down to the 5 just to make sure there's nothing there that like kind of gives me a mixed signal. But on the, if I get my confirmation on the 10, I'm sticking to the 10 and I'm not allowing the other shorter signals to really trick me away from my thesis. I do feel like those shorter term signals can be exceptionally noisy. They often like get you overthinking or get you thinking really quickly into worst case scenarios. And then that kind of screws you up. So whatever time frame you're trading on, try to stick to that one. So if your confirmation, your setup triggers on the 10, stick to the 10, stay with it. And then I would say in general, transition away from those shorter term signals. I think they're just a little bit too noisy. If they're kind of causing that emotional reaction in general, then I think you're probably going to value from just like a mental capital perspective, kind of zooming out your perspective a little bit. Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality, right? And like it's one of those things when we start to mix up our techniques, that generally just tends to confuse us. And then when we start to get a little bit confused, that creates anxiety. And then when we have anxiety in a trade, that leads us to making a mistake or making a decision that we don't want to make, right? So we kind of have to just pick our technique, get comfortable with it, and just live with the pros and cons. Because if we start to then try to like mitigate the cons halfway through when we have kind of that emotion on the line, then we end up actually just removing ourselves from the pros and we kind of cap our upside potential instead of actually limiting our downside potential. Our downside potential is baked into our plan, right? Our stop loss is there, our position sizing is there to kind of make sure that we're within those sort of parameters that we like. So we kind of just have to trust our plan at that point and trust our technique and just kind of put ourselves in situations where we can execute the numbers game on a trade by trade basis, right? We can't execute it as sort of without as much bias, emotional bias as possible. And that's when we do really well, right? But we start making decisions where every new piece of data that we kind of interpret, we look at every 30-second candle in the SPY and we use that to trick us for making a decision that we want to make, kind of screw ourselves over, right? So it's about how can I protect myself from the worst version of myself. And my worst version is an emotional nightmare who reacts and changes information or changes his plan based on every new tick that I see come through. So for me to work around that, right, is I have to systemize those questions so I know what I'm going to be asked, so I can answer those questions before they happen. So the more systematic I am, the easier it is for me to be comfortable with that. And then as I get comfortable executing the pros of my technique, I also then become comfortable accepting the cons. And as long as I'm proactive enough, right, with my position sizing and using hard stop losses and all those sort of things, then my cons should be within numbers that I'm happy to accept. And my pros, right, will be. But in the moment, that like ratio or that relationship feels flipped, where it feels like I'm protecting myself from my downside when I make those decisions, but it actually limits me from reaching my upside. That makes sense. We have to just accept that there's going to be variance, right? Like that unfortunately is inevitable. So if we now have variance in our technique, then we're not going to be able to get the upper side or the potential of it, right? We can't benefit from it. We only get punished by it. We got to really force ourselves to do the same thing. Like, and that's why I feel it's so important for me that I manage my position the same way. And I try to make like my entries binary and do all sort of things, because I know that in the moment, I probably can't learn from that trade. But if I make that technique repeatable and I can remember exactly why I did something and how I did something, then after market close, when I know what actually happened and I have the power of hindsight, I can adjust and make plans and learn from my mistakes and learn from my trades. But in the moment, right, I don't have the information. I have the information of being a speculator and anticipating what I think is going to happen, right? I'm kind of forward projecting. So I have to embrace a certain element of that unknown and just be okay with that and understand that the information I'm getting in the moment is speculative, right? Not facts. So I need to not trust that speculation and instead try to rely on sort of my process, because that's what I know makes me money. But in the moment, right, I'm just getting emotional triggers or emotional information that isn't actually necessarily relevant to my thesis. Now, there's it's a fine line to walk, right? Because there are going to be pieces of information that are going to invalidate my trade before they happen, or invalidate my play before I get a look. But I need to have been able to be smart enough or proactive enough to have identified or defined what those kind of characteristics are, so that I'm not getting stuck or trapped or caught in something that I don't want to do. So again, right, it goes back to answering those questions before they happen, so that you can then take advantage of it and execute as consistently as possible. So a little bit of a ranty morning. Apologies for that. But very, very successful trading day here so far. Like I said, final profit target's going to be 240-ish. And we'll see if we can get there, about a buck away here. We're in great shape though, right? Like indexes are cooperating. Everything seems to be behaving the right way. So let's see if we have that sort of next dollar or so of follow through. So just hanging out here. Nah, I mean, look, yeah, obviously it would have been really fun to have gone full size from 230, 515 to 240. Yeah, I would have loved to have had a 50K day. Of course. But the reality is, right, that's probably not a sustainable way to trade. I need to scale out on the risk on the way up, right? I need to manage my risk on the way up. Yeah, but dude, now you're giving me FOMO too. Fuck. Well, to said that number out loud. It's like, oh man, maybe I should have gone double full port here. I wonder if this thing has another 80 cents to it. That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, like I said, guys, not too much else for me to do here, right? It's starting to think about having some poached eggs and some hash browns. Been a great day. Hopefully a few of you guys are banking here too. Already got my orders set right at 240. I'm just waiting for a touch and a fill. Hey, 30 cents here. Come on. Jared, Greg, you guys closing out at 240, holding for longer? What's your plan? Nice. I mean, this feels like a perfectly executed trade, right? $5 a share. I'll take that all day long. Yeah, and like the statistic somewhere, right, where like the high a day is often made within the first hour. It's like 60% of the time high a day is made within the first hour of the day. I mean, Jared, that's still a pretty great rip, man. $4 a share, up 4R. Can't really complain too much at that point. So well done, man. Congratulations. Still a freaking monster day. Yeah, absolutely, right? And what you can do here now is now end the day. Okay, here's what I did. Write down why you thought like you had to do it. And then end the day. Was I correct? Was I wrong? Do I see this pattern in my trading consistently? How much more follow through did I leave on the table? Kind of track that a little bit, right? But you made your decision, so that's fine. It's okay. No big deal there. So just write down why you did it, why you thought it was important to do so, and then go back end of day or in a couple days to see if that decision was correct or not, right? You want to train your gut? That's the way to do it. I don't set a percentage. I'm not sure, Brian. I set I scale out a position on my contracts, and I'm just choosing, or I'm doing the percentage in my head naturally. Trying to make higher highs consistently on a decreasing volume standard here too, so it definitely feels like it's running a little bit out of steam. I want to hit that 240. I won't lie. So let's see if we can get there. Only 70 cents, right? So it should be able to get there. Can do it, I believe. Okay, watching here, 20 cents. Awesome, John. That's fantastic. That should really help you maximize some of that P&L. So great, man. That's good. That's exactly what the first month is for. So well done. Okay, guys, 10 cents here. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, 10 cents. Come on. Okay, 3 cents. 2 cents. Oh, no. Oh, there we go, guys. All right, I'm all out at 240. What a trade. Let's go, everybody. Congratulations. Maybe you should have held the 241. Fuck. But what a day, guys. What a day. Congratulations. Hopefully a few of you guys banked with that all the way from 235.15 all the way to 240. $5 a share, guys. Let's go. My pleasure, Terry. My pleasure. Well, I hope you're enjoying the room, man. That's all I gotta say. So honestly, so happy with this trade. This was my favorite setup here pre-market. I feel like I executed that almost perfectly from start to finish. And yeah, maybe top ticked it by about 70 cents or missed the top by about 70 cents. So no complaints. Incredible trade, incredible start to the week. And let's keep this momentum going.